So now we are in the second page of React Native Navigation documentation. So now, as you see, like the screen switching in, for example, in HTML, let's say acting like this, like I am switching the screens, like I am visiting another URL. But on mobile, the concept is a little bit like different, but like we can say the same as how we are navigating between the links. So we have a link as well, which will be like a button, which will take me to another screen in the mobile application. So for that, you need to create as well multiple screens, let's say multiple pages, to navigate between them. So for that, we are going to follow the navigation documentation. So first of all, we need something called Stack Navigator. And this Stack Navigator will contain for me the screens. So this is like a way where it behaves as a mobile application when you go back or front, we can say, or jump directly to some specific screen. So this is the goal of like the Stack Navigator in general. So first of all, we install the library, which is called React Navigation /native stack. So we go here and we are going to install it. So let's go here to our code and then open again the terminal and then make paste. And then we install those two libraries. Until they get installed, to not waste the time, we need to create the native stack navigator. So the way to do that is as well by calling a component from navigation or native stack, and then we are going to place some code. So first of all, I'm going to as well import that navigation stack. So we have here navigation container, and then create native stack navigator. And in that way here, we need to have something like a screen. Let's copy this one, for example, directly and put it over our application. So here our application is the entry point, and I will have another application or another page which will be called home screen. So for that, I will have this code exactly and then initialize the stack. So the stack navigator must be initialized, and then we have initialized it here by calling the method create native stack navigator, as you see here, which we imported. And then we will use the navigation container we have already used, and then we will put the stack navigator component, stack.navigator component. So let's go here and copy all of these parts, and I'm going to explain them. So here between the navigation container component, we are going to put the stack navigator and the stack screen. So the navigator will contain multiple screens. So I will have here one screen and another screen and another screen. So the stack will hold all the pages of the application. So now we are ready to have the library, for example, in the basic state. Let's run the application. So the running the application is by having the command npx react native run iOS or run Android. So I will go here and then I will check my simulator. So let's wait for a while until the application get built and the Metro terminal is started. So as you see here, the Metro got started, everything is fine, my application got built successfully, and then here we have the home screen which we have created. So our application is calling actually the screen. So the screen, which is called as a component, that it's like get input or property, which is called home screen or component, and we pass for it the home screen. So our home screen component is this one, is returning a view component, and this view component, which is like this, and it will hold inside it some text, and this text is called home screen, as you see here. So, and of course, this view has some properties, styling properties. We will see them later, and we will go or dive on those scripts or those styles when we are styling our application. You don't have to care about them now. So for that, we have the first screen, which is called home. So it's better as well to separate the code and have more organized code for us. So for that, I am going to create the home screen in a separated component. So we can create on the root level of our application a new folder, and I call this folder screens. And in this screens, I'm going to create a file, and I am going to call it home.ts or TypeScript X, TSX. So it will contain for me the home screen itself. So we can say like, okay, let's copy that part. Of course, it's not nice to have it like this, because it's better to define the screen as a constant function and a row function, as we will see now. So first of all, you need to import React from React, so to know that you are using here React Native. And then after that, you need to import some missing libraries or missing components like Vue, Text, Vue. Let's import also those, so we can cut them and then put them here. So you see, when I am saving directly, I am getting the errors. Our application is getting compiled very fast. So for that, let's define it like not as a function like this, but we can make something like this, const, and then I can say home screen. This is my home screen, and it will be like an arrow function. So here the arrow function, and then I will do that. Or for example, you can say the same way as the app application. So here he made those arrow function, and then he said return. So we can do the same. So I will do here exactly the same way, and I will say return, and it will be something like this. So we just copied the same component, but instead of function array, we used the arrow function. So for that, let's do this and save. Okay, now it's not working because our app.tsx is asking for home screen component. We need to import it. So for that, you need to say export and then home screen. So you can just define home screen, or you can say directly export constant like this, and then it can be importable in any other component. So I will say here import and then home screen from, and then I will say screens, so as you see here, and then home. So when I save, okay, we need to save here as well, and then you will see our home screen exactly how we have it imported or written in a separated file. So first of all, you need to export that component, and then you import it in the application, and then this component is used in the stack as a screen, and then it will be as a component property. We have the home screen component. So for that, as you see, we can create multiple screens. Let's create another screen. Let's call it detail. So the detail will hold for me the details of the crypto. So I will say here details screen, or we can say detail only, and then it will have here detail as a title. By the way, this is the title, so the title of the screen. So we are missing this screen, so I am going to create it as well in the same folder. So let's say, okay, I'm going to duplicate the file which I have. For example, here home, I will copy and paste it again. So in that way, I can call it detail. And then we have here, not instead detail or home, we can put detail screen. And then it's going to be imported or exported, as we see, and it will called here detail screen. So for that, I am going to import the detail screen as well. So I will say here import, and then you put detail screen from, and then you put screens, and then detail. To not have here multiple imports, of course, now we don't have any error. As you see, everything is working fine. I cannot navigate to the detail screen because we need to add more properties, as we will see later in the next lecture. But now, for now, I just want to show you like some trick to avoid having like multiple imports. For example, imagine you have 20 screens, so you will have here 20 imports, which is bad. So for that, I am going to create a file inside the screens folder on the same level. I will call it index.tsx. .sx. So it's very important to call it like that. And then you can say here export everything. So you can say everything, export everything from, we can say here, and then you put the path of the file, for example, home. So for that, you can say that, okay, in the home, maybe you will have multiple exports, so you can export all of them. So I will have here export from home and also export from detail. So we can have as well here detail. Of course, dot slash, it means on the same folder of the level or of the same level of that folder which I am in. Of course, when you put two dots, then you are going to the upper level. So you are on that level outside of the screen folder. So dot slash mean that you are on the same folder. So then you press save, and now you have to make like just home screen, comma, detail screen, but from where? Not from home, but only from screens like this. So in that way, you will have one import, one line, and with multiple components. So for that, you will have in that way the screens folder. Because of index.tsx, it's very important to call it as index, because TypeScript sees all of those files index inside some specific folder, and it can read it and access the other files, and you can import from them. So in that way, we have one import with multiple components, and our application is working fine.